Hello folks at YouTube, TB back here. I just wanted to show you that arrowhead. I just got it out of the stove a little while ago and it's not hot now. I just put it up there where you can see it. But they just burned all that old glue and stuff off from it, and I just oiled it a little bit with cooking oil after it's finished and rehardened it right out of the fire, you know, which I believe I showed you that. But anyway, I've got that stuff all cleaned up now and it's about ready to go back on. I take the file and sharpen that point where I hit that building and broke that arrow when I was doing that archery target shooting out back. So this arrowhead can be reused again since I found it. Arrowheads, a lot of times the Native Americans, see, I'm Cherokee and Irish, but this right here, a lot of times your American Indians reused their arrowheads, not metal because they didn't have this right here. They had flint and other types of stone for arrowheads. They used what they had at hand, just like we do at this time for survival, because you can't buy a whole lot of stuff. Fortunately, I didn't pay nothing for this sheet metal. I had it laying around here with some of my junk iron stuff when I was hauling junk iron off. In fact, over there's a big piece of sheet metal just like it. And I just cut it looked like the Oklahoma flag, what was left of it, or you know, map. So I just cut the panhandle part off of it, and I've made several arrows just out of the panhandle part. I made these a little big. In fact, they don't have to be quite as heavy as I got here. And another thing I've looked at, I've noticed when pulling them out of your arrow holder, what they call a quiver, these corners could be rounded down a little more, ground down a little bit. They serve no real purpose except to hang up when you come out of the quiver. And I've got a PVC quiver. I'm gonna be fixing another better one. The one I got is only 2 inches, and heck, it hangs on them every time you try to pull them out. So it works all right with my field heads, the one I got. But these are broadheads, and I got this. I gotta admit, I'm gonna give this credit where credit is due on this here type of arrowhead. I watched Dave make them out of metal up there. The only thing is, I used a disc grinder because I have one and cut them out a little faster. But and clamped it down in a vise and cut them out the way I wanted them. But you can. He was just trying to show us that you can do this stuff with a file and with tin snips. You can. It's a lot slower. It's a lot harder. But you might not always have power to a disc grinder or have the power tools we have here at home we take for granted. You know, I've been a lot of years buying up these things and getting them here and yonder to have tools. When I was a young man, I didn't have all these modern grinders and doggone power drills and everything that I got now. We take those things for granted, you know, because in everyday life right now we have it. But what if the electric wasn't on? What good would that do you? You know? So you have to learn to work slower sometimes and work with what you have. If you got a pair of tin snips or something like that to work with, you can cut these out and use a round file for cutting your notches in there for you to secure your arrow to your deal. I made some mistakes when I put this arrowhead on. For one thing, I used 8 glue, and 8 glue bubbled up and made it mighty heavy. Next time I'm going to try to find some other kind of glue. I couldn't get any archer's glue, and that's what the problem was. So I've been using 8 glue just to have some kind of glue to hold them in there at this point. 8 glue will hold it, but it bubbles up. Oh man, it makes a bulky head on it. So that's why I was telling you, my arrows wasn't exactly balanced. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them I didn't use 8 glue on. Some of them I had super glue on, which was lighter, and they will fly a little better too because it's more balanced. When you get an arrowhead that's way big and heavy, it's like shooting a spear. You know, so that's another reason when I was shooting my arrows up there on my archery series on the first video, you noticed the arrows were dropping because they were a little bit heavy on the broadheads on the front. That's what was causing them to drop so bad. So the next time I put it together, I'm going to get some archery glue or something that is hot glue, or some kind of glue that will hold these that ain't so heavy and bulky. Ape glue is good, it'll hold certain things, but for this, nope, I don't. I've tried it and it'll work if that's all you got, but it's not as good as having some lighter glue, something that will hold it together and not have such a bulky deal here. And you don't have to wrap it too many times around here with your string. Sometimes we get to wrapping happy and it ain't all that necessary. You just need to tie it on there 3 or 4 times on each side, and that's enough. And tie it down when you come across and lashing your arrowheads on. I've done this since I was a kid, but still I don't know everything. There's people out there like Dave that's probably far more advanced at thinking on this stuff than what I am at making arrowheads, because I really only got into doing this archery in the last couple of years. Been doing this stuff, but it wasn't like it was when I was a kid. We already had arrows made out of cane, and I used flint for arrowheads. We didn't have metal most of the time. Well, we had some metal, but I never thought about making a metal arrowhead back then because we had flint arrowheads. And we used sometimes we used feel heads, and we used nails even. We might cut some off with big Jesus nails, and they're like a spike on the end, but they don't cut wide like this. But it will kill game. I've took squirrels and rabbits I've took squirrels out of the trees. I've took duck out of the air with an arrow. So with those type of things. But your flint arrowheads work good, but they will break. The flint will. Steel won't break. If you can find these, and if you want to, you can polish them back up with a file or a grinder, and they'll look good as they did the first time you used them. But you got to beat them back out and just sharpen the point again. Because see what I done when I missed that box the other day, it hit the building. Boom! Well, that shattered that wooden arrow. Because this steel, it won't give. The arrow will. When you hit that arrow, hit something solid like that on a metal building, what I had out back, that just caused that arrow to shatter, and I knew it would snap before when I heard it. So I knew the sound of it because I'd heard it do it so many times before when I missed. So I'm not real good at seeing. My vision ain't as good as it used to be, for one thing, and that's why sometimes I don't hit, and it don't matter whether I got glasses on or not. I may miss it, and plus I got nerve damage on my left side from back injuries, and that don't help when you're trying to do archery. I made some crossbows, but I still haven't got the bugs worked out on that. It'll be in another series of the archery I'll get back to. Alright, with that being said, I'm going to say good night. It's 10:30 now at night on about the 8th of the month in February. So I'm turning in. So good night now. Y'all have a good evening. Bye-bye.